couple of weeks ago, I took a look at some perspective rulers and some drawing programs, and none of you made fun of me for not knowing how to do 3-point perspective in Clip Studio Paint. So thank you very much for being nice to me. I did finally figure out how to do 3-point perspective. So for all of you Clip veterans out there watching this, thank you for bearing with me. You learn something new every day. Sometimes when you're on deadline and you want to use a new tool, you just kind of jump in without reading the manual. We should all read the manual. Speaking of learning new things about Clip Studio Paint's rulers specifically, I follow a bunch of artists on Twitter, and a post from user, let me see if I get this right, Ray Rim, who I will link in the show notes. I'll link the post. Discovered a new thing you can do when you turn on the perspective rulers and you're drawing polygons like squares or circles or things like that, which makes drawing backgrounds and buildings and sketching things out a lot easier. So let me just demonstrate the thing that this person discovered. Now, I'm gonna be honest, this is probably old hat if you're a Clip Studio expert. But if you're a noob like me, this thing blew my mind. So first things first, we're gonna set up a 3-point perspective grid, like real artists. So go over to your layer menu, go down to ruler and frame, go down to create perspective ruler, and you have 1-point, 2-point, or 3-point. So we're gonna go 3-point, and then we have a whole bunch of confusing things here. So we can move our horizon wherever we want to, just grab it and it starts to move interactively. And then if you want to change the vanishing point, you grab these Bezier curves or these Bezier handles here. If you want to turn on and off, let's say you just want to have 2-point perspective, and this is the third point up here, you click this little diamond and that turns green, which means it's no longer active, but we're going to go with 3-point perspective. I'm just going to kind of set it like this. So before, if you wanted to draw a cityscape, you would just draw it by hand and follow the lines and do your layouts this way, and set up a kind of composition this way, and line, line, line. Takes a little long, but the advantage of drawing it line by line is that when you go to ink, I'm going to create a new layer. When you go to ink, you can use the ink to give these objects some weight. So let's see, for the ground plane, you want it to be a little bit thin to indicate the weight of this object here. And then you can go from thin to thick, this kind of thing. And it doesn't take that long to kind of trace over your lines that way, and you get some pretty great results. Well, if you want to build up your sketch even faster, let's get back to our red color because that's what we're going to use for our sketch. Go all the way over to our figure menu, grab a rectangle, and make sure your perspective rulers are on. And now you can just draw rectangles in perfect perspective. It's a little finicky, but you can build buildings, structures, and towers like this. Well, that's not good. You can go, well, that doesn't overlap. Here we go. You can build these cities very quickly without having to go line by line by line by line by line. And they don't necessarily match up, but you can get as finicky as you want to. This kind of thing. The only problem is that the lines maintain their thickness. So you get one thickness. So this would be great if you're designing something for animation where the line thickness is usually pretty standard. If you did want to change the thickness of your lines, once you've got your sketch down, you can go back and ink it traditionally. So go back to your ink and then, go thin to thick, or like thin to thick, that kind of thing. And follow your layout that way. This kind of thing. Sometimes the rulers are a little bit finicky. There we go. This technique also works with the ellipse tool. So, if you want to do like a clock face there, you could do that. Boom. Or like a little porthole. Boom. Or maybe if you want to do like windows, go back to here. And then doing a whole bunch of windows. Actually, you should probably do something like this where you get a large shape there and then just bisect it. That kind of thing. It's like a weird space cheese grater. Yeah. That is a time saver and a half. I mean, already the perspective grids were a time saver, but being able to draw rectangles and circles in perfect perspective just makes things a whole lot quicker. I'm sure all of you Clip Studio Paint experts out there already knew this, but to me, this was mind-blowing. Thank you to Ray Rim for figuring that out for the rest of us, so now we can all use that technique to build fancy buildings and backgrounds and stuff like that. Have you discovered any tips or tricks or hidden features in Clip Studio Paint that aren't obvious when you open up the program and just look at everything? Please share them in the comments. I want to learn how to use the software to its fullest potential. I love penciling in it, I love sketching in it, I love inking in it, I love doing the border lines and all that kind of stuff. I love painting in it, but that's all obvious stuff you can do. It's these little features and little optimizations that I really appreciate about the program. So if there's something that you use all the time that's been a lifesaver for you, please let me know. And if I come across any other really quick things like this, I'll be sure to share them. So check you later. Bye.